Well, that sucked monkey balls as the Jets lose 40-14 in Week 17 to the Buffalo Bills in absolutely embarrassing fashion. We'll take you through all the lowlights, everything that happened in this game, plus your phone calls here on the recap show. Jets, Bills, Week 17. Let's go.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to the postgame show, recapping the Buffalo Bills' brutal beatdown of the New York Jets 40-14. And when it mattered most, it was 40-0 before Tyrod Taylor did a couple of warm-up laps in the pool after it was well decided. Boy, was I wrong on that one in terms of the temperature before the game. I thought this would be competitive. I thought it would be an interesting game. And every time I've thought that the Jets would be in a competitive game this season, it's gone horribly wrong. So I guess that should have been a red flag immediately of what was going on. Unbelievable. Embarrassing effort, embarrassing performance, just every level. Aaron Rodgers had his worst game as a member of the New York Jets, finishing with 112 passing yards, 2 picks, no touchdown passes, sacked 4 times. Just an absolutely disgusting mess for the New York Jets. Brutal. Brutal loss. Penalties. This is an undisciplined football team. The coaching is terrible. Buffalo Bills were running wide open all over the field. It looked like the Jets weren't prepared for this game, and they just got punched in the mouth over and over and over again, and they were lifeless. Outside of some Breece Hall runs, I thought Breece looked pretty good running the football early in the game. I'm like, okay. And it seemed like regardless of who they were running with, we were getting some chunks. Braylon Allen had some good chunks early. Breece Hall had some chunks. But it's the classic case of the New York Jets as a team that can't finish. They can move the ball a little bit in the middle of the field, but ultimately, doesn't matter. They can't finish. They go on long drives and can't score points. It's just the same BS over and over and over again. Pathetic. Sad, really. And now we have one game left in our season. That's coming in Week 18. Jets, Dolphins. And yes, Aaron Rodgers will start in that one, barring an injury, according to Jeff Ulbrich after the game. Despite the fact Aaron Rodgers was benched at the end of this game early in the fourth quarter. Apparently, by the way, we have a full column, a recap of this game, in the YouTube description down below. Aaron Rodgers was the one that instigated his own benching. He went over to Ulbrich on the sideline and told Ulbrich, hey, man, it was 33-0 at the time. Maybe we should get Tyrod in here soon. And on the next play, the Bills threw a screen pass for a touchdown. It was 40-0, and Tyrod finished the last 2 drives of the game, which he scored touchdowns on both of those for whatever that's worth. So Aaron Rodgers instigated his own benching there from that perspective, and the Jets lose. Boy, there's a lot to get to. A lot to get to. Let's get to the phone lines on the postgame show. Unlike Boy Green Daily, which is a live show every day at 7:30 in the morning, the second half of our show is for callers. But on the postgame show, it's immediate callers. This is a show by the people for the people. Feel free to call into the show right now. That's youtube.com/boygreen25. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. If you're watching on our Heavy on Jets or Twitter pages, you just have to hop on over to YouTube. With that being said, let's jump to the phone lines. We got our guy Easy here on the show. What's up, Easy? Yeah.
I predicted, what did I predict? 42-9, and I thought the only reason the Jets were going to have 9 was I thought Zerline was going to kick like 3 50-plus yard field goals just to make us look even more stupid.
Yeah.
But
Hey, Connor Long said that he didn't think we were going to score a touchdown today. So when it was 40-0, I was getting tweets from Connor. I'm like, oh boy, maybe he was onto something. So
I didn't think we were going to score a touchdown. That's why I predicted Zerline with 3 field goals. The only reason I thought they were going to be 50-plus is just to make us look even stupider, Just
right. And he ended
one
up
of those
kicking an
years.
Extra point. So Yeah. Oh yeah.
He didn't.
Terrible.
Yeah, he didn't even do kickoffs. They had Morstead doing kickoffs.
I saw that. That's kind of weird because Legatron, Greg the Leg, he's supposed to be known for his kicking prowess, but not even involved there. Yeah, that was weird.
I think it's because they wanted them to take the ball at the 20 instead of at the 30. I think they were trying to incentivize running back because if you noticed, all the kicks were in the what they call it, the golden zone or whatever the hell.
Yeah, the landing zone. Yeah,
the landing zone. Yeah, fucking stupid name.
Yeah, yeah. Up, I think he's the. Oh, you're back. Up, now you're on mute. Actually, you must have gotten a. Oh, go ahead.
On the 1 yard line.
Oh, there you go. Yep, you're back.
Yeah.
I think you're back.
Morstead got the ball down in the 1 yard line. Am I back?
Yes, yeah, you're back.
Hello?
I think you got a phone call which knocked it off.
Yeah, Morstead got the ball at the 1 yard line, and I thought we were going to get our safety back, but we couldn't even pull that shit off.
Why are we throwing it from the 1 yard line with backup offensive tackles? We had Max Mitchell and Carter Warren in the game, and we get a safety, and people say that's not on Aaron Rodgers, right?
Answer
the protection wasn't
question.
great. Run the
your
ball,
own
man.
question. Answer your own question. Why did we do that?
Because
the coaches are
Rodgers, everybody, I guess.
Because the coaches are morons.
Terrible.
They're morons. You put in Agent Zero and the other young kid who's got some power, and you do a couple of blast plays and you gain yourself 4 or 5 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what the hell else are you gonna? I just, Jeff Ulbrich may actually, Woody Johnson has an opportunity to be the first owner in NFL history to fire the head coach, any interim coach in the season, and I think he should. I think he should
after this embarrassment.
I think he should fire Ulbrich and send a fucking clear message that nobody is safe. I don't even care if you're interim. Interim coaches usually get the, they get to just do the whole season, get it through the season. This guy doesn't even deserve it. He's horrible. If I hear one more time we had a good week of practice, I'm going to slit my fucking wrists and bleed green all over my kitchen. Jesus. I mean, we had a good week of practice. I want to hear we had a shitty week of practice and we made up for it by going out there and kicking the shit out of the Bills.
Exactly.
But that don't ever happen.
No.
That doesn't happen. It's just crazy.
That did not.
It's crazy. Am I animated enough for you?
Quite. And I appreciate the passion. That's clearly coming through.
You got to understand. My friend Rusty died 2 years ago. He was a diehard Jets fan like me, and he's never going to see them win. He's dead. Fireman Eddie's brother Frank died of cancer. Poor bastard. And I'm diabetic. Am I ever going to see another championship? Who the hell knows? I'm 64. They're going to give me a fucking heart attack.
Yeah, we're in a tough spot right now. There's no doubt about it. These are choppy waters. I did not have this on my bingo card being a 4-win team heading into the final game of the season next week. This is beyond belief.
I want to wish condolences and Godspeed to our former president Jimmy Carter. He passed away today at the age of 100.
At 100, yeah. So salute
God bless him. He
President.
did so much good. Habitat for Humanity. He was swinging a hammer, building houses for people when he was 98 years old. You got to love the guy.
Yeah, love him, absolutely. So I appreciate that salute, easy to Jimmy Carter.
But what in the hell? Garrett got his 1,000 yards. Thank God.
He did. So congratulations to Garrett. He becomes only the 5th player in NFL history to start his first 3 seasons with at least 80 receptions and 1,000 yards. So he was able to get his minimum 13. He got more than that for the game. But shout out to Garrett Wilson. I'm happy for the young man. He joins the list. Yeah, the list includes Odell Beckham Jr., Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Michael Thomas. He is the 5th. Is Garrett Wilson, and
that's world class
for sure. That's NFL history, and here's team history. Shout out to Garrett Wilson. He is the first receiver to have 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons since George Sauer, who did it from 1966 to 1968. Those were not his first 3 seasons. Those were just any 3 seasons in a row of 1,000 receiving yards. So long story short, these are a bunch of stats to say. Yeah, sure, absolutely. It's just a fancy way of saying Garrett Wilson's pretty good, and I think that's something we all knew. So God bless.
This is a guy that we need to figure out how to keep him happy and keep him on this team. At this point, I'd be happy with Rex, Vrabel, Chucky, Aaron Glenn, any competent guy that could come in here and do the job. Even Kingsbury, I think, sometimes, you got to have you cut your teeth. He cut his teeth with the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe he could come in and do something. But quite frankly, the problem on this team right now is the defense. It's not the offense. It's the defense now.
The defense was awful. The offense isn't finishing, so they deserve their hate. But the defense has been awful all year.
But the defense, last year's defense, we'd have had 10 wins this year.
Sure.
This defense has quit. They quit.
It's a painful cycle.
And I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. I'd be like, what am I going to put myself out there and get my ass handed to me? I'm getting embarrassed on the field every day. They always play zone, and there's always a guy wide open. I'm watching it. Are you watching the same thing? Every play, there's a guy who's wide open on a what was it, a third and 4, and these guys are back 7 yards.
The miscommunication on Sauce and Tony Adams was really bad. It was 3rd and 4. Ty Johnson ran out, and I could just see it on the screen from Josh Allen's vision was that there was a 3rd and 4, and I'm like, is Ty Johnson wide open? And they threw it to Ty Johnson, and no one was within 5 to 7 yards of him. It was absolutely wild.
Even on the one play where they almost sacked him, where he was running for his life, he threw the ball downfield. That was damn near a catch.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I will say Eccles had amazing coverage on that touchdown throw to
Amari Cooper. Salute.
You could not have better coverage.
Coverage was
you
great.
You really couldn't. That was great coverage.
Throw, great catch. 100%.
It was sometimes you got to take your hat off to the quarterback and the receiver because he almost batted it away. I mean, that was just Eccles is good.
I hope we bring him back. It's an underrated thing because obviously there's so many other bigger names that are drawing attention, but I hope he's a guy that's brought back as a reserve.
DJ Reed is good too. I mean, the thing is, we have really, really good players on this team that are being horribly coached. It's coaching. It's 100% coaching. You look at the guys on this team. There's no reason why we have 4 wins. No freaking reason. I can't figure it out.
It's hard to rationalize.
And nobody, and I mean nobody, should show up at MetLife next week. Nobody, nada, tailgate, nothing. Okay. Don't show up. Don't spend your gas to go there. Don't go in and buy beer, food. Don't pay the parking. Nothing. I mean, really, it's just that will send a clear message to Woody Johnson that this is unacceptable.
And we'll see if people kind of rally around that easy. We'll see. Appreciate the call. The passion is wonderful. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. That was a beating. I felt like we were the New Jersey Generals and we were playing the Harlem Globetrotters.
It felt that way. It felt like we were setting everything up perfectly. Right. Oh, God. Wow.
It was terrible. I mean, really, that first half, we were pretty much, I thought we had them, the defense actually did pretty good. We held them down to a touchdown pretty much.
Yeah, it was 12-0. Yeah, at the end of the half, I believe it was 12-0. Yeah.
So I thought, okay, and then the second half, it was just like a total mess. Now, can we do something next week? Can we sit Lazard and see what Corley does in the screen?
Yeah, because Malachi Corley was once again not healthy. Well, he was healthy, but my brain, he was a game day active guy. Right. He was on the side. He could have been used, and I saw him a few times on special teams as a gunner. I'm like, oh, perfect. It's a blowout, which sucks. I'd rather not be blown out, but we are being blown out. So cool, Malachi Corley time, right? And then it was just a lot of Tyler Conklin and Tyrod Taylor. I'm like, what the hell is this? So, that was odd. So, hopefully you're right. Now that everything is clearly over, there's no playoffs, there's no nothing. Can't we just see what the guys have in Week 18? I hope so.
Yeah, I want to see Corley with the screen. I want to see Garrett Wilson on the quick slant. And I'd like to see Devontae do nice post. And if we do those things, I think we could hit it. And with our tight ends, we could realistically, we should be able to do this. I mean, look at a Tyrod play. It was almost just like basketball. It's almost like you don't have to get fancy. Just get on the ball and let the guys do the work,
Yeah. Two drives, 2 touchdowns. Now, I get it, Bills backups and all that jazz, but, Tyrod just looked confident. There was a decisiveness to whatever he was doing. Throw here, run here, move here, this, that, or the other. So he got the ball moving, and he got it in the end zone. So you got to give a salute to Tyrod. That might be a sneak peek at 2025. He's under contract for next year. So at minimum, he's going to be our backup quarterback and maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a really good backup to have for sure. He doesn't look like he'd be very durable playing like that, running around.
Probably not. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
but
not.
anyway, and our offensive line took a hit too. I mean, we're not the same offensive line with those two tackles out
Oh,
there. Let's face it.
God. Disgusting. I
I mean,
mean, Carter Warren
yeah.
and Max Mitchell were just awful. Absolutely awful.
We got our work cut out for us, man. We really do
Mm-hmm.
on this
Yeah.
offseason. We have to really retweak the depth on the offensive line. The
Mm-hmm.
defensive line is really a mess. We're gonna need.
A disaster.
I don't know. JJ's coming off that
Correct.
Achilles, right?
Achilles. Yep. So you got JJ, you got Will, and you got Quinnen. Those are your three. The rest of the room needs to be blown up. Jermaine, obviously, but the rest of the room needs to be blown up.
And the Jermaine Johnson, that Achilles usually is a 2-year injury. It seems like you don't really come back great at the beginning of the following year. I mean, hopefully that's not the case.
Sure.
Anyway, we got to work. We get a good coach. We turn the culture around. We have a lot of good core players. I think we could get into the play. I'm really, the more I'm looking at this JJ McCarthy, I like this kid. And
yes, Hep, come on to the dark side, my friend. That's the play, baby. That's the play. Yes.
He reminds me of Matty Ice. He's just really tall in the pocket, and he's got some good 100%. Legs too.
And Matt Ryan was a league MVP, was in the league forever. Hell yeah. Sign me up for Matt Ryan, baby. I'd take that.
Yeah, me too. All right, Paul. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, appreciate you, Hep. Thanks for calling into the show. Appreciate you. We got 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Keep spreading the good gospel of all things Boy Green Daily here on the show. Real quick before we go back to the phone lines, Tankathon update. Why not, everybody, with everything going on here? There were some massive shifts in the Tankathon standings based on the results of today. The New England Patriots would have the number 1 overall pick today if the draft started right now. The Giants won, which means they really lost. The game the Jet fans should be paying attention to is the Cleveland Browns. They're in a battle with the Miami Dolphins right now. If the Browns win, the Jets will leapfrog them in the strength of schedule. Right now, if the draft started today, the Jets would have the 6th overall pick. For strength of schedule. They could leapfrog Cleveland. And really the interesting thing to say is in front of them, the Tennessee Titans, the Giants, and the Browns, who is a team we just mentioned, those are 3 teams that have a better strength of schedule than the Jets, which means if the Jets were tied with those teams, they would leapfrog those teams. So those are teams to root for, certainly this week for Cleveland and next week as well if you're into the tanking sort of conversation. So Jets have the 6th overall pick right now, and they could get even higher, potentially. Let's go back to the phone lines, and this guy didn't join us visually, but he did comment in saying, hey, man, I don't even know if the Jets are going to score a touchdown. And he was certainly right on the first string, unfortunately, but the second string, Tyrod was able to make some things happen in a preseason-like finale finish. Let's go to NY Flight Jets Talk's very own Connor Long here on the show. What's up, Connor?
BG, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Wow, look at this new setup. That's nice. I can see the helmet back there. What's that, a Nets pillow? Look at this.
Yep,
oh, yeah. You stock up, baby. Nice.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I put that comment out on your pregame show, Boy Green Daily, obviously this morning, and then I don't know if you know Boy Green, but I'm a huge Tyrod Taylor fan. I love Tyrod.
I do not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I love what he's done in the league, and I've wanted him to come into games recently. So when Tyrod came in, I think I was the most invested I was all game. I was just like Tyrod, because I've been saying I want Tyrod to start in 2025 for the past few weeks, and I was like, if Tyrod's going to score, if the Jets are going to score a touchdown and they're going to ruin my take, let Tyrod go out and do it, not Rodgers. So.
He looked good out there, man.
Yeah, I will say one thing that you and Easy were talking about on that play where Rodgers got sacked in the end zone for a safety. And they actually they tried running it with Braylon Allen, if you don't remember, up the middle on the first play, and then they got to the 2-yard line and it was 2nd and 9. My thoughts on that play was overall I thought Rodgers had an opportunity to throw it away, but I mean, there was just an unaccounted for rusher coming right at him, and Max Mitchell. I didn't even know where Max Mitchell was on that play. There were so many miscommunications on the offensive line. The defense was an absolute mess. I don't know if you saw it on the sideline, BG. They played it at the end of the game. Like Brendan Eccles was in some sort of, he was like jawing at MC2, and it looked like Eccles was sort of crying. It was It was a weird scenario.
And Tony Adams was like holding him back, so I'm not sure if it was like a fight thing or a yelling thing or emotional thing or what. But yeah, I mean, when you're getting your teeth kicked down your throat 40-0, and the wild miscommunications, which were, to your point, happening on defense with wild people wide open on the offensive guys, not saying, hey, you got that guy, right? Oh, geez, you don't? I mean, it was just a disaster of epic proportion. So yeah, I saw it. So, and I've heard some comments from the post game with some of the players in the locker room, like, "Oh Jesus, this is not good." Spoiler alert, breaking news. Going out on a limb here. Vibes not well in the locker room in the middle of a 4-12 season. Not great.
Yep, I agree. Just one more thing here for my case that for Tyrod to start next season.
Okay.
First off, he's under contract next season. He signed the 2-year, $18 million deal last offseason. You have him under contract. I don't care that he was playing against 3s and 4s. One thing that you could showcase, no matter what the talent no matter who you're playing against, is your elusiveness. And Tyrod, although I think he's 34 years old, he was getting out of the pocket. He was
35. He turns 36 next August. Yep.
Yeah, he was getting out of the pocket. He was evading pressure. I thought he looked really nice. Here are some of his stats I have and how they ranked among quarterbacks last year with the Giants. Keep in mind, the Giants ranked 32nd in PFF pass blocking grades and receiving grades. So that was his supporting cast compared to, his weapons he would have with the Jets next season. Here are some of the stats I really liked. 1.2% turnover worthy play rate, the lowest among all quarterbacks. Last season, who played 20% of the team's offensive snaps, 3 interceptions, second least. Average depth of target, 9.3, fourth in the league, and 7.6 yards per attempt, which were 10th in the league. So I think if you put him with a solid offense, he could do great things really next season. I'm a huge fan of what he's shown. Again, he's not like a Rodgers where you have to pay him a ton of money, and also he's known to have a really humble personality, around the league. He's never caused any problems compared to a guy like Rodgers who, as much as he's done great things throughout his entire career, he called out Mike Williams on the Pat McAfee. He's called out Mike Williams twice, quite frankly. He's told players to stop listening to the media, yet he goes out and does weekly spots and gets ridiculed by basically every single analyst on ESPN. So, I don't think he would command as much attention, and I think he could do just as much, if not better. And if I'm Jeff Ulbrich, I'm going into my last game, which it'll be his last game ever coaching an NFL team in his life. So he better savor every single second of it. Wow. If I'm Jeff Ulbrich, after I look at Tyrod's performance, I don't care if he was against 3s or 4s, the way he came into the game compared to Rodgers, why not send a message and bench Rodgers and start Tyrod next week? Why not? He earned it.
I like the aggressiveness there, and I'll also give you another feather in the cap for Tyrod. He had 197 yards rushing last year for the Giants, which was the most rushing yards he had since 2017. So obviously the old man still got wheels, which, Jeff Ulbrich, the thing I think a lot of people hate about Jeff Ulbrich, there's a lot to hate, but one thing in particular is that he's just kind of a parrot for Robert Saleh isms. Like Saleh taught a college class of Robert Saleh things he likes to say, and Jeff Ulbrich repeats them, and people just get horrible flashbacks to Saleh. And one of the things Saleh loved to say is superpower this. Connor, superpower. She's a great podcast.
Thank you.
And like a superpower that Jeff Ulbrich said for Tyrod Taylor is he has this elusiveness and mobility that we clearly needed today, which was almost like a subtle shot at Rodgers that he's old, but also that Tyrod still has some juice and can kind of help some of your pass protection issues when you have Max Mitchell and Carter Warren and Xavier Newman and God knows who else has to be out there, that he can mitigate some of that by immediately getting on the move. Aaron's so old and Achilles recovery still in his own mind forever will be because coming off the injury, like once the pass protection breaks down, there's minimal movement and then he just like rolls over like a dead fish, like it's over. Like Tyrod, there's some wiggle. He was escaped the pressure or two and then got the ball away and threw it away. And so, yeah, I think there's a little bit more there to Tyrod. I'll be curious. Ulbrich already said after the game that barring some mysterious injury with Rodgers, he's going to roll with Rodgers in Week 18. So we'll see if he changes his mind during the week.
Yeah, just one final thing here regarding Tyrod. I know a lot of people say the durability. He's had injury issues his entire career, but again, I don't feel comfortable with having Jordan Travis as the only quarterback behind him next season. Jordan Travis, who's never appeared in an NFL game. Why not sign, I think it might be a bit expensive to sign Justin Fields to a kind of a lucrative deal. I think he's going to want a multi-year deal to put him with Tyrod and have them battle it out. Why not sign a Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, both free agents this offseason, 1 year, $5 million, 1 year, $4.5 million. Have them come in, battle with Tyrod for, quarterback one, and then let's say one of them goes down, boom, you have either Tyrod or Dalton or Winston to go into the game next. So I think that's a good plan, kind of to deal with the injuries. But BG, appreciate it. I don't think the pain's ever going to end. I don't know where we go from here.
I don't know either. Real quick, I'll talk about your quarterback plan. I love your quarterback plan, to be honest with you. I would not feel comfortable at all with Jordan Travis. Again, maybe there's some mysterious development or miraculous is the better word of like, you sign a veteran, like you said, and then you get Jordan Travis and he beats out one of the guys. Like, oh, well, what a pleasant surprise. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, we got Jordan Travis here. But I agree. I would want another guy in there. And I think a lot of those guys are going to be signing for one-year deals. Even Fields, who I'm sure wants a multi-year deal, he showed such a very sparse package of action in a part of the season before he was benched for Russell that I'm not sure if he's warranted that sort of deal from somebody. Maybe quarterbacks are scarce, maybe that happens, but him on a one-year deal, Winston on a one-year deal, any one of those kind of guys, I'd be totally for. Brissett, sure. Throw his old ass back there. I don't care. Like throw somebody in there. That could be sort of interesting to go along with. But before we let you go here, NY Flight Jets Talk, aka Connor Long. Give us all the juicy deets. We got a couple hundred people in the room. If people would like to continue to hear your wonderful insights and analysis, where can they do that and how often can they do that?
BG, thanks for having me. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate all the support. Sure. Appreciate all you've done for me. And it was just 3 days ago. 4 days ago, I had my first ever episode. 3 days ago, or 2 days ago, I had you on, which was my first ever interview, a year from 2 days ago. So I appreciate that. Crazy. It's crazy to think it feels like that was 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Just crazy, how slow the season goes by when you're 4-12, whatever it is now. But appreciate it. You guys could find me on YouTube, NY Flight Jets Talk. Read my work, jetsxfactor.com. Smash the like button. Subscribe to BG. He does great stuff, and jet up.
Okay, love it. Also, people, make sure to check out the Rich Cimini interview Connor just had on there within the last week. That was terrific. A lot of juicy nuggets in there with all the wonderful guests that Connor has on the show. Connor,
appreciate it.
Thanks for popping on, brother.
Of course. Have a great rest of your show.
There he is, Connor Long of NY Flight Jets Talk. Wonderful. And thanks for jumping on the show. Hey, Danny in real life on Twitter says, hey, Connor, you're still young enough to make the right choice. Come to the Bills Mafia. Enjoy the riches of winning as he tries to lure young Connor over to the Buffalo Bills side. And, hey, FFL 98 said that kid's remarkable. I love Connor, man. He is as smart as a whip. And, again, this show is soon going to be called Connor Long Daily. And I will be on the streets begging for loose change. That is immediately going to be happening in my future. Hopefully Connor gives me, the problem is I want Connor to at least try to give me a run where the Jets are good. That hasn't really happened a lot yet. So I would love to happen. I hope Connor doesn't just take over next season and then the Jets are in the playoffs again. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? I enjoyed nothing. It was 14 years of losing. But, hey, whatever happens. Connor's one of the best in his business. Fastest Food Reviews, a.k.a. Chef Kevin Gilbert, say Connor's the real deal. He damn straight is, baby. A remarkable young man. Let's go back to the phone lines, baby. We got Indy Jets here on the show. What's up, Indy?
Hey, Paul. How can this we talked about this the other day. This whole coaching staff should have their stuff packed before the Miami game.
Yes.
I mean, so that way their offices should be cleared out. So when the game is over, regardless of who wins or loses, they just go straight to the cars. Don't even go to the locker room and talk to the players.
Yeah.
We had tackle problems today. You had a right tackle and a left tackle. Okay, you had Max Mitchell over here on the left side, and you had Carter Warren.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. What are their natural positions?
Let's see. So Carter's a tackle, but Mitchell's played some guard too. So yeah, it's a kerfluffle mess.
Well, my point is that Carter Warren played left tackle in college, and Max Mitchell played right tackle. Max Mitchell has played right tackle for us, numerous times, and Carter Warren had played left tackle a few times. Why are we having these guys switched?
I don't know. That's a great question.
It'd be one thing if just Max Mitchell was playing and he's our number whatever, number 3 or number 4. I don't even know what we're
right.
on
Like
now.
He's such a good swing tackle that you'd be willing to put him at left or right because he's so good. Right. That you could sell me on if he was good.
But to say Carter, Warren, he looked lost out there. Both of them look lost today.
Well, that's true. But Carter got sent on his ass, and I'm like, oh, dear Lord. When Von Miller bull rushed his ass and threw him on his back, and they immediately sacked Rodgers, brutal.
He looked like he was still in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, not even.
He's been developing for years. This guy isn't a rookie. He's been around for several years. I mean, the development plan on the O-line, Keith Carter continues to get feathers in his cap for sucking. I mean, good night, man. He doesn't have these guys ready.
Yeah, and so how is it that again? I just I just can't get this season over quick enough and get this whole coaching staff out of here. And in all honesty, I want Rodgers to go with them.
Yeah,
I'm done. And here's why. Is he probably the most statistically the best quarterback we've had in who knows how many years? Yeah, I don't even care. Yeah. I don't even care. I think his lack of accountability and leadership actually brings the team down.
Mm-hmm.
When he looked at when he threw that bad pass at Yeboah at his ankle.
Oh, that was a touchdown. That was a touchdown.
I don't know if you saw the look on Rodgers. Right, but I don't know if you saw the look on Rodgers' face that he literally it almost looked like he was blaming him for not catching it. You could just see that look. And it wasn't. I mean, I think it was like the next series, Josh Allen, and I'm not a big Josh Allen fan, but I have to give him props here. He made a bad pass, and he made sure that wide receiver knew that it was his fault. He flagged. Right. I mean, that way it's not in the guy's head.
Like, oh, geez, what did I do? Right.
Pass that blame off and say, hey, you know what? You should have caught it. I don't care if it hit your ankles or if it's 10 feet over your head. It's not my fault. And I think that's how he addresses everybody. And I just want him out of here. I don't necessarily think he's a cancer, but he's a boil that we just need to move on from.
I've gone back and forth on it all season here, Indy Jets, but after seeing this performance, and again, it's just there's been this herky-jerky nature to it. You hear Garrett Wilson, who's been incredibly frustrated with him, so frustrated that he may even request a trade if Aaron comes back. There has to, if you're the next regime coming in, you have to investigate, like, whoa, what could be so wrong that one of the Jets' best players on the team, the mere thought of playing with Rodgers again could send him to a request. Like, boy, they just got to do a deep dive and investigate. That's a Jeff Ulbrich term. Just do a deep dive and fully investigate this thing and see what they need to do. But I think to your point that sometimes less is more. And maybe even though Aaron Rodgers could be statistically, perception-wise, the best quarterback they could get next year realistically based on the options, maybe that's still just not good enough to rely on that as the standard. And you have to do what's best for the team, not just what's best at the specific quarterback position.
Exactly. And you know what? I think that the team would play harder for a guy like Tyrod Taylor. If they would have put Tyrod in against the Minnesota game, I think the team would play harder. I just don't think nobody wants to play hard. Maybe Devontae Adams, but outside of that, nobody wants to play hard for Rodgers. He just comes across as something. There's just something off about him. He's not the same leader he was in Green Bay. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, there appears to be a big disconnect between him and the rest of the team on a consistent level. Again, outside of Devontae Adams, I guess. I got to put him in his own category. But everyone else just doesn't seem on the same page. It seems like it's the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams show, and then a bunch of Jets just kind of watching. It's time for a fresh restart.
When you have a 24-year-old wide receiver, and Garrett Wilson, wide open, and you have Rodgers not even looking his way because he just wants to he just wants that 500,
which he didn't even get to today, and Devontae didn't get his 1,000 either. So,
no. And so, that's just that just throws, it's just sour apples, man. And I just want him out of here, and I don't care where he goes. If he just retires, we need to start keeping these leaders on the field, and if you've got a bad attitude, I'm not ready to move on from CJ Mosley yet. I think that he had an injury riddled season here. And I think that was part of the reason why the main reason our defense has been down, just because there's no leader on that defense right now.
That's true. I love Mosley a lot, so I hope there's a way we could keep him on the team. Again, the new regime coming in will complicate that decision, but I hope so, because Mosley is a great leader on the team, and when healthy, he has shown some chutzpah, but the health, unfortunately, has been something that's eluded him for the beginning part of his career and the beginning part of his Jets tenure, and then most recently. We had a middle chunk there of like 2.5, 3 years where Mosley was firing on all cylinders and healthy, and he looked great. If we could get back to that, I'm all for it, Indy.
Yeah, and so that's I'm hoping that Tyrod plays the whole game next week, and I don't even care if we win, lose. If we win and we move up to what, 8, we're at 6 now. So
we're guaranteed a top 10 pick. So for folks that are worrying or concerned about that, we're guaranteed a top 10 pick under any circumstance that happens. So win, loss, anything that happens next week, they're now guaranteed, even though they were last week too. They're guaranteed a top 10 pick. So that's the good news. And again, we could see they could go up from 6. They'll stay within the top 10 no matter what. So that's the good news.
How about the Giants screwing up their number 1 pick?
Unbelievable. I can't believe it. My radio partner is a big Giants fan, and he had been rooting for the tank. Like rooting for a tank in a way that I've never seen someone root for a tank before as a fan of a team. Like he wants his team to fumble. He's a Giants fan. He wanted his team to fumble on purpose. He wanted them to throw picks. He wanted them to lose by 1,000. I'm like, good Lord, you're sick, buddy. And he was texting me all day throughout the game, and he was so angry, so infuriated because of the Giants' strength of schedule. They've tumbled down to 3rd overall right now. It could drop to 4th. We'll see what happens in that Browns-Dolphins game. And then if they win one more, they could skyrocket to the bottom of the top 10. So, just dramatic swings because of their strength of schedule. Unbelievable. The Giants blow it. Giants.
Yeah, that's so New York.
It is. It would have been, again, personally, it would have been great for my radio to have the Giants with the number 1 pick because that's good for business. But, as a Jet fan and hear all this Giants bullshit all the time, that to me would have dramatically affect the head coaching attractiveness. To have the number 1 pick is cool. To have the 3rd or 4th pick or whatever they could end up with, I think it's a different perception conversation. So we'll see what happens there with Big Blue.
Are you still planning on New Year's Eve?
So, we will be doing a show not quite on New Year's Eve, the midnight, but we will be on New Year's Day. We're going to do an extra live show at noon, and we'll be on for like 30 or 45 minutes. So that'll be like a noon to 12:45 on Wednesday the 1st.
Okay, I thought you had talked about maybe coming on at like 11 o'clock New Year's Eve.
I did, and then everyone told me that it was a stupid idea, and they hated it. And I went, yes, of course, I'm an idiot. So I said I will pivot plans, and then everyone voted on the noon plan instead. So I said, okay, that if that works out better for everybody, so be it. So yeah, I did have that plan temporarily.
That's absolutely the reason why you should have done it, because
that's true.
Us Jets fans know nothing anyway, so.
That's true. Screw the man. That's what we should have done. But thanks for the call, Indy. I appreciate it. And thanks everybody for venting, because hopefully that's what this could be for everybody here. Again, we got 300 plus people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, and the scrolling ticker. I don't know if anyone's in the mood right now, but hey, I might as well plug it. Every gifted Boy Green Coffee Club membership here on the channel gives you a raffle ticket to our big raffle giveaway, which, as Indy Jets just pointed out, will be running through January 1st until 12:15 p.m. So every gifted membership from now through January 1st at 12:15, that's p.m. Eastern time, gives you a raffle ticket to our contest, and the person that gets the most memberships will win a custom emoji from Snowball. Let's go back to the phone line. Speaking of Snowball, here's his handsome better half, Johnny Boy, here on the show. What's up, Johnny?
Wow, what a game.
Yeah.
What a game. Look, I'm done with Aaron Rodgers. The Aaron Rodgers project is over. It needs to be put in a bag and thrown in the river with some weight in it and just let it go for what it is. You put up the actual thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to him saying, hey, it's time to put in Tyrod, right? Like, who is the coach and who is the player to me? I'm sorry. Like I said that I was going to give it up to the end of the Bills game to give any type of chance, maybe hope to Aaron Rodgers to see if he comes back, but he's done. This guy is cooked. Like he quit on the team by doing that. That's what that showed me. If I'm one of the other players and I see that and everything, I'm like, yo, what's the sense? If the guy that was supposed to come over here to be this leader, right, is saying, yo, put in Tyrod because, I just want to chill over here and put my hat and keep going like this to it on the side with this smug looking face that he puts on there. Like it's done. It's done. Like this guy is about himself. It showed in that interview itself. And I'm sorry, but you know what? But Aaron Rodgers, he gave the most money ever and all that because nobody wanted the dude. And we were the dumbass team that thought that maybe we could have done something with him. If he would have been with us maybe last year and unfortunately got hurt, then it would have been a little bit different. But unfortunately, it is what it is, right? Yeah. Indy Jets, I understand what you're saying in regards to the Mosley, right? But Mosley is done, man. I said it when they gave that little tribute to him, and I kept saying it. I think the dude is done and everything. Sherwood has showed out this year and everything. And a new regime, new GMs are going to come over here and are not going to want to go older. They want to continue to keep going younger. And we have players here that are on point to be able to do that. We need to stop letting Aaron Rodgers get away with all the crap and stuff that he does, because last year we gave the same, we were dogging Lazard for quitting on this team. And I'm for sure as shit not going to not give Aaron Rodgers the same crap that I gave Lazard, because at the end of the day, you know what that means to me? He cares more about the name on the back of the jersey than what the damn name on the actual teams on the front. And that's what we play for, right? Dudes, we've been here for so long. I understand the record is bad. It is horrible and all that, but show some pride, okay? That pass to your ball was to his feet. And you know what I think that was? Because I think he wants to give that damn ball to Davante Adams to go ahead and have 500 that way and everything.
That's funny. I thought of it for a moment. Conspiracy theory, perhaps, but when Aaron Rodgers throws the shitty pass to Kenny Bowe, he rolls out the pocket and throws it to him. Kenny Bowe would have caught that try, went into the end zone. Who would have had that on the bingo card? Kenny Bowe catches touchdown pass number 500 for Aaron. And for a moment, I'm like, did he fucking skirt that rock across the pond on purpose?
Exactly. You know he did that, bro. You and I both, he did that. He was wide open. He had him. How many times has he done that? Same type of rolling out, extending the play, right? And all he had to do was flick it. He didn't even need to freaking like try to chuck it in there or anything, because there was no defenders around.
Yeah, he was wide open. Yeah.
Because you know what would have happened? That would have been one of the Can you guess who was the player to catch Aaron Rodgers 500
that would have been a good
touchdown pass and all that, and nobody would have guessed Kenny Yeboah from the New York Jets. It's done, man. Like the interviews with him, it's as cringe-worthy as Ulbrich and this coaching staff that we have here. Get rid of all of them. I need you to come into one Jets drive with a blowtorch and blowtorch that entire locker room and get the stench and stink out of that, and pray to every single guy that's out there that you guys believe in, whoever, I don't know what you guys believe in, that Garrett Wilson wants to stay here, because that is our future. If you tell me, Johnny, Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, I'm going G-Dub every single day, all day, every day. Like it is at this point that the Jets have ruined Aaron Rodgers for me, bro. Like I loved Aaron Rodgers, man. I was like, man, this guy is a great quarterback, and he picked us to come to the Jets, right? But it was just 4 plays and it was over, man. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I tried as much as I could, but this game did it for me. Divisional games like the Bills. I hate the Bills as much as I hate the Dolphins. You tell me, put them in rank. It's I hate the Dolphins, then I hate the Bills, then it's the Patriots for me. Because back in the day, it used to be the Dolphins and the Bills. And OG Jet fans remember those games and stuff like that. Still pissed about when they had to remind me about the damn mud ball and what they were putting up there and stuff like that. It's done, man. Like
here's the thing I want to show you. Here's what I want to put on the screen. I put this out on Twitter, and I was immediately lambasted because people thought it was the shittiest take I've ever had. Watch the clip. So Garrett Wilson, remember, he has the fumble. Garrett Wilson has the ball. He's trying to make a play. He fumbles. And watch this, folks. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. Aaron Rodgers made a business decision, and he did not jump on the fumble when he could have. Okay, so we're just going to rewind this. I'm going to mute it because I don't have the rights to this, but I'm going to throw it up here on the screen. Watch this play, okay? So Aaron Rodgers, he hikes the ball, okay? He flips it over to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson tries to make a play. Hey, he tries to do too much. Ball loose. Watch this. Aaron Rodgers is right here. He can jump on this ball. Watch the hesitation here because he sees another Buffalo Bills guy coming. Look, he could jump, and then he waits and dives to the right. He had the ball's right here. Look, dive on it. And look, he's waiting. Why? And he sees this Bill guy comes in, and he floats himself over to the right. Aaron Rodgers 100% made a business decision. I don't know if it's because he's old or he's like, F that. I don't know. It's the middle of a 26-0 game in the moment, but he could have just dove on this ball. He falls down right here. The Jets recover. Instead, Bills recover. Aaron Rodgers made a bleeping business decision. Everyone called me out for it on social media, but look at the tape, people. Look at the bleeping tape.
BG, you know what he thought right then and there?
What's that?
Man, I might not make it to the 17 games. That's
probably true. I thought about that too.
That's my personal
goal. I was
goal.
thinking to myself, I said, man, why would he not have dove on the phone? Because I saw it immediately. He went to go, and they hesitated. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why didn't you just dive on the ball? And then I'm like, what would be the reasons that he wouldn't? And that's one of the first things I thought of, John. I'm like, holy shit, this bastard wants to make sure he plays in all 17, and he could get his shoulder dove on. And it's probably shitty for me to think these things, but damn, it's hard not to think of those things.
But Boy Green, but Aaron Rodgers is breaking all the Jets records that we have in passing yardages and possibly touchdowns and stuff like that. Whoop the fucking do. As if it's not something that's done on an ordinary base now and everything. It's just that we as Jet fans have not had something like this for I don't know how long. And we continue with seeing okay average quarterback play. And it's like freaking seeing Joe Montana out there, man, as if we don't know what it is. You got all these other guys that are out there that are doing it. And my last thing, and I'm gonna stop because I've been battling the flu.
I can hear it.
This damn game has pissed me off even more, bro. I've been sweating like as if I'm freaking at a game right now, trying to die for the ball. I don't know. Anyways, this whole situation now, right? Next season coming up and all that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Whoever comes in, GM and freaking head coach.
Yep.
The first thing they need to do is call Garrett Wilson, have a sit down with him and said, this is the plans that we have going on as of right now, right? This is what it's going to be centralized around you because you are the future. And we're going to continue to keep putting all the correct tools around you to help you succeed because you haven't had it in the main position that you've needed. I have no idea how the hell you've done 1,000 yards within 3 consistent years with 7 different quarterbacks, ending with a fucking guy named Tim Boyle. Okay, Tim freaking Boyle, Simeon, Josh Johnson, Zach Wilson, Mike White. Should we keep going? Because it's only
I believe it's 8 now because Tyrod Taylor did not play for the Jets last season, so he has now played with 8 different quarterbacks. I'll have to make sure we put that up on the old stat sheet. So congratulations to Garrett Wilson on his 8th quarterback now. That's a good point there.
And at the end of it all, man, like, look, I get it, but the Aaron Rodgers project, it's over. Just chuck it up as an L. Take it in the damn chin. Keep it moving. We need to go ahead and change the culture. Get a blowtorch into one Jets drive. Torch the living crap out of everything. And it is what it is, man. I'm still on the board with bringing Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson connection, right?
Sure.
Maybe enough to make him happy for a little bit and all that. Bring in a really good offensive coordinator, right? And I want my head coach to be a hard-nosed, badass dude that is not scared to say, I am benching your ass. Because today, Clemens, as soon as he did that
what an idiot
dive or whatever he did, if I was over it, I would have got number 72, tell him, take off your pads, start unbuckling everything that you need
There's
to
no
do,
discipline, no accountability.
Because that's exactly what that damn showed me right then and there again. And then you know what he has the nerve to say? I'm going to have to take a hard look at the game again all over. Bro, What? Like,
yeah,
why?
hard
Man?
look, deep dive, all the Ulbrickisms.
It's just bad. And bro, and we're gonna put our young kids, through this stuff, because they have no choice.
No, obviously
have
not.
a choice.
Yeah, zero choice, no choice. Yeah.
Hey, BG, I appreciate you, man. Keep doing your stuff. I'm in the men's. I'm getting better. I'm on meds and everything like that.
Okay, good.
It is what it is, man. So go Knicks. I don't know,
bro. That's true. I love it, Johnny. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I don't know what sport we switched to now. I don't know how that works for Jet fans. A couple of things here. FL Phil 98 said this earlier. I want to get to this because Indy Jet said he believes one of the main reasons the Jets defense has taken such a dive has been the absence of CJ Mosley. I don't know if I would go that far, but I would highlight two things that I believe is the main reason for the Jets' falling defense. Number one is coaching. The coaching's been awful. Ulbricht's been spread thin. He even talked about, there was a question in the post game. Hey, how do you think Aaron Rodgers played? He's like, I'm going to be honest. I have no idea. I wasn't really watching the offense. I was making defensive adjustments for the first half and into the third quarter. And Aaron was benched at the beginning of the fourth quarter. So he had no real take on that. And despite all his adjustments that he was attempting to make, it didn't make any difference. The Bills dropped 40-0 during his adjustment period. It's funny, when he stopped doing his adjusting, the Bills didn't score another point. So I don't know if that means anything, but there you have it. So I think, number one, the coaching has been awful. And the other one is just analytics, and it's this. It is really difficult for a team that's been a top defense to continue to be a top defense on a year-to-year basis. There is regression to the mean, and that's what happened to, I think, a lot of this. Health, obviously, is a factor. The Jets betting on Hassan Reddick and giving up on JFM. The Joe Douglas horrible destruction of this defensive line of guys not named Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, and Quinnen Williams. When you put those guys aside, the rest of the room was disgusting. Likey Fotu was a terrible signing. Quentin Jefferson being let go, terrible decision because they didn't answer a text in time to get him back in here. So what they did to the defensive line, which is supposed to be the strength and bread and butter of the team, they totally destroyed with their depth decisions. That was god-awful. CJ Mosley, of course, gets hurt, so you got to factor that in, obviously, as well. But just regression across the means. The weakness at safety, obviously, rang its ugly head through. Quincy Williams has not been as good as he was in his All-Pro season last year. So regression, which is what the numbers say. Again, when you're a top defense for so many years in a row, eventually you miss your defensive window, and they have. And to me, the concepts, the schemes, the coaching, it's all gotten stale. It was fresh. It worked sort of like Rex Ryan in a different way. Like his shish kebab worked for 2 years. It was fresh. His message was fresh. What they were teaching was fresh. And then it just gets stale. It grows old, and then your talent dissipates, and then it all goes to hell. So I would say those are the main reasons, but I appreciate FL Phil 98 for that comment coming off the Indy call earlier. That's what I would highlight for a couple of things there. But yes, I would also say on the Aaron Rodgers thing, I did not think it was going to be well received that Aaron Rodgers basically tapped the side of the helmet and said, even though it's a blowout, but tapped the side of the helmet and said, yeah, maybe it's time for Tyrod. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, is the head coach, general manager, and every other position for the Jets. You need somebody. If Aaron was to stay, and I get coming off his worst game of the season, a lot of people are going to say no, including myself, because I've gone back and forth on this. But you would need a coach that's got the chutzpah to not be influenced in that serious way by Aaron Rodgers, and that he would have his own ability to be able to make decisions without being influenced by Aaron. And there are, I would imagine, only a very few people on this planet that would command that sort of gravitas to be able to do that with Aaron. And again, if you get the wrong coach that can't do it with Aaron, that could turn into an even bigger disaster, which I would put in there. Christopher Cancel, Boy Green, why would the Vikings let go of J.J. McCarthy? Here's the only way that I did a whole video on it a couple days ago. You guys can re-watch a video if you'd like. My plan was this. So long story short, the rookie quarterback class stinks, and the Jets are out of a position to be able to draft one of the guys. So put that aside. And for instance, right, so like the Patriots at the top of the board. Are the Patriots going to deliver a franchise quarterback to the Jets? So let's say the Patriots hold the number one overall pick. Let's say the Jets are in love with Cam Ward. Are the Patriots going to hand Cam Ward on a silver platter to the Jets no matter what picks they give them? Probably not. So that conversation is moot at this point. We'll see if another team, like, let me see. I have Tankathon in front of me. The Jaguars, they are not. But if the Jaguars somehow ended up with the number one pick, and they have Trevor Lawrence. Would they trade with the Jets? They have no real ties to the Jets. Why wouldn't they? That would be a different conversation, but I don't think we're going to get there. Anywho, so I think the quarterback rookies that the Jets can get stink at this point. The free agent class stinks. So now you're the Jets. You're like, well, what the hell do we do at quarterback? I think a unique option is J.J. McCarthy. Now, the only way he's available is if the Vikings give Sam Darnold a long-term deal. If they're just like, you know what? Sam is everything that we hoped J.J. McCarthy would one day be. Sam, here's a 4-year deal for $200 million. You're our quarterback. At that point, J.J. McCarthy could say, clearly I'm not the guy anymore. I want out. And then the Jets can get involved. For that specific scenario only. If the Vikings simply franchise tag Sam Darnold, which will be expensive, it's $40+ million for a franchise tag, so we'll have to see if they can financially afford to do this. But if I'm the Vikings, I franchise tag Sam. I have J.J. McCarthy. I kick the can down the road for another year, see how J.J. McCarthy continues his rehab, and then you get another year of Sam Darnold. But if they sign him long-term, Sam Darnold, I think J.J. McCarthy could throw a fit, become available, and boom, the Jets can swoop in. But it would require that. Excuse me. Let's keep going down the comments here. Again, we got 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, baby. We appreciate it. Yo Home says, I feel so sorry for Jet Central. He was at the game. Yeah, I was texting with Ian from Jet Central earlier. Oh, God, can you imagine? I've been at I've been in Buffalo for a Jets blowout loss. I can tell you firsthand experience. It sucks. It sucks. I had beer thrown on me. It was not a good experience. It was the end of the Sanchez era. Not good. Not good. It was like when you're like, don't throw a pick six. It was that end of the era. Let's keep going here. Momo says Rodgers was trying to prevent an injury, but again, you're supposed to be fighting for your team, doing anything you can. I'm not saying purposely throw yourself in front of traffic, but the fumble was there. The ball was there to be grabbed. And I don't know what's going through his head. No one asked him that question after the game. Maybe they didn't have the angle, but, the Jets were down at the time like 26-0 or something, and you go, not worth it. I don't know if that's what went through his head. I'm not in Aaron Rodgers' head. I'm not sure. Dr. Cornelius. So you're telling me we should run it back. Again, maybe we'll do a full show on this maybe tomorrow. We'll see what topics become available. But there was a report out from Ian Rappaport this morning from NFL Network and I have a story on I have it on Jets. You guys can read it. But if Aaron Rodgers comes back, Garrett Wilson could consider a trade because of how bad their relationship apparently is. If that's true, and there's an ultimatum, Garrett Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, I'm picking Garrett Wilson every day of the week. See you later, Rodgers. It's over. I'm not picking a 41-year-old quarterback who maybe has 1 year left over my 24-year-old superstar wide receiver. Absolutely not. If that's the ultimatum, easy peasy, Garrett. Not even a conversation. Goodbye, Aaron, and we're going to figure out quarterback some other way. I'm not losing Garrett. He's one of the best players on the team. He is an absolutely freakazoid talent. I am absolutely building around Garrett. I am not giving up on him. And the other thing, part of that defensive line rotation we talked about, is Hassan Reddick being acquired was the direct result of JFM getting traded away. As soon as Hassan Reddick was acquired, Joe Douglas said that we immediately had to get rid of JFM. JFM, is in the middle of a career year. He's tied for his career high in sacks, and he has the most quarterback hits he's had in 2 years. JFM is killing it with the Denver Broncos, and he's on the team that could be in the playoffs. The Jets, Hassan Reddick has half a sack this year and 2 quarterback hits. Hassan Reddick stinks. And the Jets blowing up the defensive line is where we're at. CBW says Vikings will tag Sam Darnold. End of discussion. The franchise tag is $40 million. That is a lot of hoopla to spend on one position when you have the rest of your team. So everyone just assuming franchise tag, I don't think so. Maybe it happens. I don't know. But I'm not so sure. That's $40 million, people. $40 million plus because it's a projection. My holy king, does Sam want to come back here? If he wants to come back here, come on down, baby. Come on down, Sammy. I'm all about having that conversation. Ace of Spade, is Justin Fields' accuracy fixable? Obviously, of course, accuracy I never thought was fixable until Josh Allen. And Josh Allen clearly showed that it can be with good coaching. Now, the Jets need the good coaching part. And for Justin Fields, to me, it's just an interesting dart throw. If we're in the shithole of Rodgers retires or just remove him from the options, and you have Tyrod Taylor, Jordan Travis, you need another veteran in the room. I'd do Justin Fields because it'd be fun and interesting. Would it work? I have no idea. But I'd be like, sure, why not? Because that would be a lost season, for lack of a better word. It would be a season of like shoulder shrug. So I'd be kind of curious to see how that worked out. Momo Adamo. Max Mitchell's horrible, but that's why you can't hold O linemen accountable. What do? Sit him and bring in Mitchell? I just improve your depth and improve your coaching. Keith Carter's job is supposed to have these backups ready when they step into the game, and obviously they haven't been. It's been rough. Our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby. Tyrod, number one. Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, or Dylan Gabriel, one of the rookies. Day 2 rookie probably here as your QB2, and Jordan Travis QB3. That's not a bad plan, number one Austrian Jet fan. Not a bad plan at all. Not a bad plan at all, excuse me. Taylor Sterling says there's no Garrett drama. It's all made up. Maybe it is, and I hope you're right, Taylor. But, normally when there's smoke, there's fire. Again, I think a lot of the drama could be immediately killed when he gets handed a 4-year deal for $120 million. He's like, okay, where do I sign? And maybe it's just over right then and there. That's what you have to hope for. FL Phil 98. I think the majority of us have wanted to move on from Rodgers for weeks. The false choice of Rodgers or Wilson is media-driven. Wilson will be back. Again, I hope so. I hope it's just media bullshit that they put together of some ultimatum that could exist. I hope 100% you're right. And number one Austrian Jets fan, absolutely. If we're lighting things up and throwing gasoline in places, absolutely. Please, let's blow up the tight end room. By the way, it's official. I just got the notification the Miami Dolphins beat the Cleveland Browns, so they're all fighting for that final wild card spot. Cleveland now officially jumps to the 3rd overall pick in the Tankathon standings, kicking the Giants down to 4. The Jets are at 7 in the Tankathon setting. So the Jets currently pick at 7 right now. Apparently, Carolina's strength of schedule bumped them again. So Carolina is one we'll have to keep an eye out for. So Cleveland moved up, and Carolina's strength of schedule was adjusted with all of these results of these games. Jets now sit at 7. They sat at 6 previously. So the Jets are going to have to keep a close eye on that one. Again, it's a close strength of schedule with Carolina, and Jaguars have a significantly better strength of schedule. I don't know if that gap can be made up in a single week. So the Jets would need Jacksonville to win, and Carolina, like I said, is a coin flip. It's going to come down to the nitty-gritty there. But currently the Jets now pick 7, thanks to the latest happenings there from that perspective with the draft. Just want to keep you guys abreast on all that. Jordan Travis is our future Mr. Magoo. God bless, I hope so. That'd be great. That would be wonderful. Well, everybody, I just want to say fun show for 40-14 blowout loss, I guess. Well, thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And, yes, I'm wearing a Jason Morrow 88 Jets jersey. How many other Jet fans have that in their closet, I wonder? It's true. There it is. Jason Morrow. It's the first time I've worn that one in a while. Just like to mix it up, and that did nothing for our chances. But there you go. For all the bingo, like a scoregami Jets jerseys to wear. There you go, Jason Morrow, baby. Everybody like the video, hit subscribe. We've got a full column in the YouTube description down below recapping this game and Aaron Rodgers' reaction to being benched and giving his take on that. We'll have more articles and columns out as well. So let's go, baby. And let's keep it rolling. Wonderful. Guys, make sure you tune into the show tomorrow morning. We'll be on live at 7:30 in the morning to talk more Jets. Looking forward to it. And the last week of the 2024 season for the New York Jets and the start of what should be an exciting offseason for the New York Jets. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you. Take care.